Okay, just to clarify something after all this time, if there is a nice stop motion video used as the intro for a rewind and it involves any kind of talent or skill or style, it was not me. This week's was done by Justin Rash for the official Conan account to promote the Heroic Signatures Battle of Blackstone Conan, and I thought it was neat, so I stuck it on the front. I have linked Justin in the description if you want to see more, and there's more. It is so much good work. I just appreciate that kind of thing, and I want to showcase it on my little YouTube channel here. So that's what I do. Look at toys, look at things involving toys, talking about toys, because I'm Robo. Here's the rewind. Since I've already brought it up, the Heroic Signatures Battle of Blackstone Conan Deluxe Edition is now up for pre-order. I kind of jumped the gun a couple of weeks ago with my review of this figure. I didn't see the embargo date, but having it in hand already, at least the first state or the step before a final product. There's a couple of tweaks still to be done, and after that, this should be one hell of an action figure. I like most versions of Conan. I'm not gonna look at one and go, ugh, no thank you. But when it comes to this version, I know it's not the original Marvel Comics version, but that's the one that's burned in my brain the most. And the comic series and this figure does a good job of emulating that. And just to clarify, this is the deluxe edition that includes all the extra weapons. And like some of you actually know. You know my gimmick. When I first saw the original promotional images, I thought, well, whose cane is that? And whose other swords with the curve or the thinness? A pistol with Conan? What is going on here? But those are actually weapons used by other characters in this storyline, other Howard characters. And I have seen them say that if this does well, they will get to those other characters. Oh, this seems to be just the top of the pile. Well, it's Conan. The series is about him. These other characters just kind of float in and out of this, from what I understand. I haven't actually read it, but that's what I've been told. So, hey, Conan, another Conan. We are living in a fantastic time when it comes to barbarians. There's also something to be said about the time we live in when it comes to fighting video games, because Storm Collectibles and their Storm Arena line has no signs of stopping anytime soon. We talked about the initial reveal of Nash last week, and I just don't know this guy. Well, to reiterate for the 500th time, I wasn't super into fighting games. I was more there to shit talk my friends and stand there and, hey, what's that? Don't get hit. Kick to the face. Oh, you're down. Watch out. But that was mostly Ultra Street Fighter 2. Right, because that's what was at the arcade when I was getting out and about at the time. So, yeah, that's the one that is mostly in my head. Alpha 3, maybe I've seen names mentioned, and if there was previous figures, I know of them, but Nash, I got nothing other than the McFly, the life preserver vest. I'm not gonna make that joke again this week. Oh. From a custom perspective, which will get me buying figures faster than the lines I actually love and collect, the pants may be useful. I'm picturing those with the legs sliced out from under, big boots put there, some straps. Yes, I'm working towards another Agent X, or my first Agent X. I've started so many times and have never finished because I'm never happy. I want that Udon Agent X look. But that's Marvel. We'll get to that here in a bit. So yeah, Nash for the Nash fans or the Alpha 3 fans. But like I mentioned, Storm is not slowing down whatsoever. I guess to show that they're in it for the long haul, they went ahead and announced the next 5 figures. Here's Akuma, Balrog, Cammy, Zangief, and Armika. And yes, I had to read that again. Not an expert in this franchise. But it feels kind of hot and heavy, right? It feels kind of, and I don't mean to assume there's some kind of competition between Storm Collectibles and Jada Toys, but it almost feels like they're thinking, well, we have a lot of catch up to do. And I'm sure one of the big comments they get is, well, why don't I just buy Jada Toys? They're almost done with the full roster and just pick up your random characters. And Storm's kind of like, no, here we go. Here's this. But what it really comes down to is, well, maybe you're loyal to a certain company, a certain brand, a certain style, and that's coming into play here. It's two different companies. It's two, my brain is screaming to say two different styles. Someone like me who's not super familiar could mix and match. When I look at these, I think, oh yeah, that's Ken. And I have a Ken, but it is a different style. Maybe the same property overall, but based on different games. Unless you are just a big, huge overall Street Fighter fan in general and need both of them, then it's okay to pick and choose. Well, okay, even if you're a super fan, it's okay to pick and choose. It is. It really is. You can go, I like that, but I don't need it because I have this. Of course, that's me saying that. So, do as I say, not as I do. Because when it comes to BigBadWorkshop's Operation Monster Force, I can't help myself. I just need all of them. I see things and I say, I need that for this, and I need multiples of that for this. Troop building, army. Going against the Forgotten King. He needs troops to throw back at Dracula and Van Helsing. And Commander Gridiron is just another step in that overall storyline that needs to be made. Now, I'm sure this is familiar to some of you if you have met a certain person. I'm not going to get too specific because maybe that would ruin the mystique. Maybe that's too behind the curtain for some. Some want to just keep that main storyline, and that's what I'm going to do. Look, it's Commander Gridiron. He just happens to supply weapons to the teams, you know. Nothing like real life or the situation involved. You know, it's Operation Monster Force. It's monsters and operations and forces. Shut up. Now, this has been up for pre-order for a while, but the reason I'm bringing it up again is because it looks like BigBadWorkshop has gotten some factory samples of the figure so they can do some pretty promos instead of the digital renders. And it's always nice to see that because it feels like one step closer to getting into our grubby little hands. And really, that's what we're all working towards. Remember when I said you can pick and choose and it's okay to pass on things, appreciate from afar? Well, that's exactly what I thought when I first saw the Mezco 1/12 Collective DC Dark Knight Batman. Well, I won't say the first time. I think they had this in the display case at San Diego Comic-Con, but this week it went up for actual pre-order. And when I started clicking the promotional images, I thought, I'm good with my in-art. It's pretty damn nice. Or the other versions of Dark Knight Batman that I have in various shelves and piles and tubs. But then I kept scrolling. And yes, there will be limitations to the articulation here because of Mezco's style. It's cloth, it's a suit over a body. So the armor bits and the cloth, it will kind of hinder. You know, kind of like the real suit in real life. Now, that's not me making excuses for this because, like I said, I have the in-art. It can do some crazy things while looking fantastic, and it's more my style. It goes in with the rest of my display because it is all plastic except for the cape. But what wins me over to the Mezco is, one, they have a fantastic looking Joker coming, and I'm in for that no matter what. Do I need to pair it up with a Mezco Batman? Will it look okay next to the in-art or the figure arts or the Mafex or the Mattel because of the styles? Or do I need this? But more than that, it's the head options. And when you first glance, you think, oh, why did they go so exaggerated with the frown and the but then you start making the sounds and start remembering the movie, and they're pretty damn accurate. You can look at some of these and just hear it in your head. Swear to me! That's on top of the promotional images looking damn good. Now, I know Mezco does do some tweaking sometimes with the backgrounds and the articulation and the movement and the placement of things, but still, some of these jumped right out of the movie. And that's enough to get me tempted. Again, I haven't locked this in whatsoever. I kind of wish this would hang, or more than that, I wish they would jump right to the Joker. Because, again, people like me are probably wondering if they're going to pair it together. So why not pre-order them together? If I saw the Joker next week, I would probably jump back to this and go, okay, gimme. But now it's a waiting game. And if Joker's not for months, this may sell out by then. This may be gone. Or there will be another rush on it after that. So, yeah. Something I did pre-order this week is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Pulse exclusive X-Men 97 Cyclops and Jean Grey 2-pack. Now, we did already talk about this at length because this was debuted at San Diego Comic-Con. At the time, they went ahead and sent out all the promo images, so there's nothing really new to talk about here. I will reiterate that I think the belt is pushed too low in all of these promotional images, giving him a very banana hammock look. Because then I go back to the shot I took of Scott in the case at SDCC, and the belt's a little higher, and it balances things out better. I am usually a belt slung low kind of guy when it comes to my action figures. I feel like it's a more powerful position. The belt's down, more upper body, less legs. A lot of times it balances things out. But this is also classic Cyclops. I'm okay with it being a little higher. Justifying purchases when it comes to X-Men, because I feel like this is an upgrade to the old Bucky Cap body that was used in the 2-pack Cyclops with Dark Phoenix back in the Toys R Us days. Plus, if you're new to the line, here you go. I think Jean Grey is an upgrade too, because it seems Hasbro did what a lot of customizers did and I hadn't done yet, by swapping out the legs, making her taller, making her look better next to other figures. Other than that, it's X-Men 97. And it's X-Men in general. Bring it on. Emperor Doom also went up for pre-order this week, and here we get a better look because at San Diego, it was only the one slide at the panel and then the figure in the case, I think. Now we have the whole photo spread, and for someone like me who doesn't keep up with current comics, it's just kind of like, why is Dr. Doom wearing Strange's cape? And it seems he's the Sorcerer Supreme. Okay. This is a lot of reuse, but I want to say that the belt, for sure, is a new sculpt, which means the lower tunic seems a bit different from previous Dr. Dooms. The cape, I'm not so sure. It feels new, but I have not confirmed that by comparing to older Doctor Stranges, because there's been a lot of Doctor Stranges. I do wish it was a wired fabric cape, though, because that would make it way more dynamic. Many more posing possibilities. So not for me. At first, I didn't even go to any of the product pages. I just downloaded the pictures and went, oh, okay. But then I saw the price tag of $27.99. My initial thought was, well, okay, maybe it's deluxe of some kind. The box does seem wider, and when that happens, the price does go up. But then the word on the mean toy streets has been that this is gonna be the new base price for Hasbro Marvel Legends, which I'm bringing up without any kind of sources whatsoever. I don't have any proof of that other than people talking about it. So this isn't straight from the horse's mouth. It's not Hasbro saying that, it's just everybody. So it wouldn't surprise me because we've been heading that way for a while. There's so many things up in the air right now that talking about price seems like a lot of speculation. A lot of informed speculation, but until I see more Marvel Legends at $27.99, I'm just gonna, well, I'm gonna hope for the best. That's all I can do. Because I'd rather not see a price hike. I'm not going, well, okay, I guess that's the thing. Give me all the Legends. No. It feels like we just talked about this a year or two back of, prices are going up. I'm not gonna buy as much. And I have cut back. It may seem like I have stacks and stacks, but there are things I've passed on. Things I look at now and go, man, I wish I hadn't passed on that, but it's okay. there's always new stuff coming. There's always more announcements, like the Hasbro Marvel Legends Fall Con exclusive Super Scroll. And by Fall Con, they mean New York Comic Con and MCM London. And again, at first glance, I thought, well, I'm pretty good with the Super Scroll I got in a Build-A-Figure wave a while back. And even after doing some digging and some comparing, I still feel that way. If I don't get a chance at this, I'm pretty good, but not everybody feels that way. Because the head paints are better. On the Build-A-Figure, it was a paler green and the eyes were just yellowed out. These have actual eye paints to it and it gives the figure more personality. There's also an extra head. Again, I've been skipping things. I haven't got the Troop Builder scroll or was it a Black Bolt scroll that came with a Spider-Woman or something? So I recognize two of these heads from the original Build-A-Figure, but then the third, I don't. I'm 91.38% sure that it is new, but I could be wrong. The same goes for the base body parts. The chest is definitely from the original Super Scroll because of the sculpt coming up and then the shoulder flares. I think the arms are from the most recent Venom, who got a pinless upgrade. But the legs, I'm not sure. I wanted to say it was the same as the Venom legs, but with pinless updates to it. But then I try to compare side by side, and it seems Venom is a bit more bulky, and the feet are different. They've got wrinkles on the toes. So I am 72.49% that the legs are new. And that's way lower than the alternate head, so you can place your bets. I'm not gonna lie, when I first saw the pictures and the flamed on lower half, I thought, well, he kind of looks like he's in red long johns. And where in the hell is the Sue power representation? There's not a clear part on here. There's nothing invisible. But then I saw this and realized that they were putting it in that amazingly badass 90s trading card box. That sent my brain spiraling back to that time and to that card where Klurt or Super Scroll does have a whole flamed on bottom half and no invisible parts. So I assume that the Hasbro team's going for trading card accuracy, and for the most part, it is, except for one thing. The Thing arm and then the stretchy arm are on opposite sides from the card. And that was done simply because that's the sculpts they had on hand. The original Build-A-Figure had the stretchy here, the Thing here, and then part of the stretchy arm invisible. So instead of doing new sculpts for that can only be used here, they just reuse that. Pins in the elbows. Speaking of future reuse and going back to the legs, I'm guessing that those can be used on any other figure that's gonna come down the line in this same size and body shape, which is kind of a shame because we're due the Gamerverse Captain America and Venom 2-pack any day now. And that Venom could have definitely benefited from the use of these legs if you're into the pinless look. Oh. They are saying that this will go up on Hasbro Pulse after those two cons, and I'm hoping it's fairly easy to get. Being a lesser known character than Savage Land Rogue and Shanna, who completes a team, and a Sauron upgrade, which is way lower tier than Super Skrull, I feel. But like I said, it's not gonna break my heart if I don't get it. I'm just hoping that everybody who wants one can get it. I'm hoping this is more of a Death's Head situation where it will pop up on other sites and eventually just be available to everyone. If it's easy to get, I may grab it because I love the box. I love the brighter colors, but I'm okay with my Super Skrull being a bit more drab and having an invisible part in there and the flamey parts. You know. Sticking with Marvel, Sentinel has announced their Fighting Armor Hulkbuster, and good gravy, look at this thing. Fighting Armor has been running with essentially the same body type for a good long while now, and that's the point of the line. It seems like, you know, hey, let's throw everybody into a Stark-made armor. It would have Stark flavor in every iteration. Stark flavor I'm leaving it in. Now we have gotten a few Iron Mans in different colors, well, essentially the same figure in different color schemes, but it's nice to get another Iron Man armor in and changing things up completely. I'm not quite sure how often they'll be able to use this or how many color variations they'll be able to go through with this size and this price, but it's there if they wanna. I can't think of any comic accurate ones, but a neat one would be Deadpool colors. Maybe have a Deadpool head underneath just for the pure shits and giggles of it. Like fighting armor, it does skew away from the source, which it's supposed to. The Iron Man in this line isn't straight up comic book or MCU Iron Man. It's its own thing. And it's the same here. It's got the things you can attach to that can be used as weapons for other characters. There's the clamps on the feet that do come down, and but when they're upright, it does look slightly odd, but not enough to take away from the overall presence because of the intricate sculpt and the candy colors just pop in your eyeballs. Every joint in the fingers are articulated, and look at this pose. You would not expect a figure of this much chunkness to be able to do this, but here we are living in this day and age. It's crazy. I haven't translated this picture, and to be honest, I haven't looked at the description. And how about before I open my mouth, we do a little bit of research. A new entry in the Fighting Armor series. Here comes the Hulkbuster. Here comes the Hulkbuster. Okay, 10 inches tall, again, massive, and it even says most massive figure in the series. Vibrant red and gold, signature color scheme of the Hulkbuster, die-cast parts to strengthen the joints and interior frame. Oh, here it is. The reactors on the armor are made of transparent parts, and the chest hatch can be opened to reveal Iron Man inside. So I was about to blurt out, are they saying that the parts here and here and here are LEDs that they light up? But no, they're just translucent plastic. Still a neat effect though. The missile launchers can be interconnected via connector joints and also be attached to the 3mm hard points located at different positions on the figure. The grips of the missile launchers are also compatible with certain hands of previously released figures from the Fighting Armor series. So again, lots of weapons, but it can be distributed out. Yeah, $214, but again, 10 inches, wide, die-cast, candy colors, translucent parts, accessories, another Iron Man head under the helmet. Yeah. It's fighting armor. It's an import. Which brings us to the mystery of the Marvel Blokees series. It's honestly very hard to find any hardcore information, especially when Blokees themselves do not advertise this, and I'm just finding out that they're not allowed to distribute in the US, much like other lines that may tamper or interfere with Hasbro's license. On top of that, size and scale information is like trying to find Bigfoot. Until I realized, oh, I just need to go to import sites or AliExpress and find the pictures of previous Marvel characters. Hopefully it has the right name on them, and then it gave the size. Because when I first saw the Champion class Deadpool and Wolverine figures consisting of Deadpool and Wolverine from the movie Deadpool and Wolverine, I was slightly interested because, hey, model kits, articulation, it's Deadpool, it's Wolverine, it's Blokees, it may be very, very affordable, might as well give it a shot. But tracking down info on the previous Champion class MCU, Thor and Captain America and Iron Man, those all stand somewhere between 5 and 5.5 inches, which is too small for my display. Again, they're interesting looking. They have a cartoony feel and very blocky presence, which is the name of the company. But it's still kind of neat, especially assuming that it's a cheap price point. It hurts even more because they also announced Star Wars Champion class Darth Vader and Stormtrooper, and my initial, oh, if it's cheap, I can army build the hell out of those Stormtroopers, but at 5 to 5.5 inches tall, they won't go with my stuff. But we are swinging back around to Marvel Rivals, where we did see a Spider-Man and Venom revealed a while back. I can't even remember how far back that was. When was that? Looking at these again because of, we'll get into it, there's some new reveals in this line too. Looking at those again, they are more defined. they're more human-like. They feel a bit more premium because they don't block into the chest joint or anything. They're a bit more streamlined, which makes me think they may be a different size. And in my brain, I'm hoping for 1/12 or slightly larger, but they don't go out of their way to put any kind of clarification on the placards. Others have Champion class or Galaxy class, which is even smaller. That's like 3 3/4 inch. There's also Venom having a lot of extras. Now, I do think the MCU Thor came with lightning effects, and there's some swappable pieces here and there. And same for Iron Man, has some things to plug in the back and blast and such. But this Venom feels much more deluxe-y with the tentacles that go way out. Also notice how big he is next to Spider-Man. If this line is the same as the Champion class and 5 to 5.5 inches for the Spider-Man, Venom is still larger, so maybe that would be fudgeable into a regular, into your 1/12 display. I was gonna say regular, but some people like 5 inch, some people like 3 3/4 inch, some people like 12 inch, 18, 24, 1/1 props. I'm not trying to discourage or disparage any of those collectors. I'm just saying, for me and what we talk about here, 1/12, baby. Which brings me to the new reveals from this week, like SPDR. This seems very timely, very convenient, given that the Fury Toys was just canceled in the past week or two. So they're like, oh, did you want that? Well, here's ours. When it comes to this, the style doesn't matter because this character or this mech has been shown all kinds of ways in the comics and the cartoons and now video games. So I feel like this would fit into the thing. Unless it's too small, because standing behind Venom, it seems to be not as big as I imagine it to be. Also, they went and made Penny Parker another statue, like Hasbro did with... Did they do it? Was with a kids line that looked like across the or into the Spider-Verse or something. I don't know. It seems like Penny always gets the short end of the stick in this pairing. Rocket, though, again, very stylized, but very Rocket Raccoon. And like Venom, because of the size, even if it's smaller, it's another candidate to be slipped into your 1/12 display because it's Rocket Raccoon. It's not a 6-foot human. If it's smaller than the rest, then it usually fits. So yeah, exciting things from Marvel Rivals, but again, like I said, I don't think that they are allowed to distribute in the US. And that's why I'm kind of in the dark, because it's all new and fresh and different. Oh wait, who do I follow for this? How do I find out more? What's going on? I just wait and see what happens and then talk about it afterwards. I am recording a little early this week, so I may miss some things, but what do we say? What do we say?
Robo's an asshole!
No. We say next week's are for swinging back around. As always, special thanks to the Nobots and the Nobodies, the Patreon and the channel members. This week, I'm going to thank y'all for being so even-keeled, laid back, easygoing. I've been in a lot of chat rooms and forums over the past 25, 30 years, and at this point, I only go to the Patreon chat because we just look at new pictures, we talk about customs, we go back and forth, not collecting, gonna buy, not gonna buy. Here, nobody gets mad at other people's opinions, and at this point, that's just all I'm looking for. I feel like that's what everybody should be looking for, but I know better. Internet. I'm talking to you, Internet. Yes. I still don't care for Gamerverse Spider-Man, no matter what you tell me. No matter how mad you get. In fact, if you got mad at me poking or joking around about a design, then that's kind of on you more than me, right? I mean, come on. Again, it's toys. Just trying to have a little fun. Isn't that what I preach every week? I know it's a running gag at this point that I have to finish with have some fun, but some of you need it hammered into your head every single episode. Because I see you. And I figure most of the very few negative comments that I get, I figure most of them don't even make it to this point. They get to the point in the video where they can say something shitty or get angry about something and then go down and comment and then leave. run off to Reddit or Facebook or whatever and get their cronies involved and everything. So, if you ain't having fun, I don't know why you're here. My floor's creaking again. That's okay. Bye.